Hey guys, John here again. Right, my next video is a bit inspired by Mike sending me this t-shirt with the old Headless Horseman there. Is it headless? Sorry, not Headless Horseman, but you know, the old horse and carriage, spooky as hell, the coffin, funeral procession, ghosties and stuff like that, and folklore, as we call it in Guernsey. So, and it's probably called that mostly everywhere else. But yeah, this is that inspired me to get out the old Folklore of Guernsey book by Marie de Garay. I've read lots of books on supernatural stuff like that, history books of Guernsey, the Channel Islands and stuff, and I'm just going to show you the ones I've got, and hopefully this will interest you if you're into history stuff. I'm not going to go through and start reading them but no, this will just show you the other side of my collecting, what I collect, sort of. Just, I've collected these books for years, and I'm always, well, I'm not so much now, but if I see something that I know is quite rare, I will pick it up. This one's not so rare. It did get rare at one point, but this is another edition, later on edition, because the original one was smaller, and I did see that only a few weeks or so ago, but I didn't buy it. I thought I got enough books at the moment. My favourite parish, Guernsey, St Pierre de Bois, or St Peter's in the Wood. That's by the same lady that did the folklore one. She's a well-known person in Guernsey, or was, who wrote books about Guernsey, and there's all sorts of stuff in there. The story of the Guernsey parish and its people. That would be the parish where my most of my mum's side of the family, the Vokes, grew up and lived. So and then should we go on? We've got, I should have put these in some sort of order, but I'm just going to go through them. I'm going to try and do it as quickly as I can. There's a massive piles here. So here we go. If you never knew it before, but we were occupied by the German forces in 1940 to 45, and that's a picture of the Pollet, and walked down there many a time on a drinking spree. But yeah, it was a bit like a holiday camp for them when they got here, and a lot of them, wanted to actually see action, whereas they came in for actually just do training purposes and stuff like that. And I think they killed a few people, but not to the extent of everywhere else in the world at the time. Great book here. I will do this one. We got the Shell, the Channel Islands book. This is just this has got Jersey in it, as well as Guernsey, Alderney and Sark, and there's lots of pictures in there of that's in Jersey, and I think there's more in Jersey in this one. Oh, there's some Guernsey stuff as well, but that's not one that I've really. Oh look, there's a cool place, Metal Mickey's and his girlfriend went there with me a few weeks ago. It's Sark in Sark. That's actually from the other side. And yeah, there's lots of cool stuff in that one. Got this one here, portrait of the Channel Islands. That's in our St Sampson's Harbour. This one was done in London, but this one's got not a lot of pictures, but the statue of Victor Hugo there. There's loads of other stuff in there, obviously. I won't bore you. Alderney, most northern Channel Island, which you can see on the map there. It's there, and there's England, France. So you can see how close we are to Guernsey is to France. So, and my great grandmother was born in Alderney, and her parents lived there for I think it was a short time, but there was somebody else that lived. Her grandfather had worked in Alderney as a farm labourer as well. So, but yeah, that would have been 1830 or 1850 or somewhere around there. But yeah, I have studied lots of genealogy and stuff like that. You know, there's lots of amazing photos in these books. They're very cool. Hitler's Fortress Islands, which you can still buy today, this one. Carol Toms, which is a bloke obviously, did loads of books for Guernsey, very well known name, and you know, there's lots of tunnels and bunkers and towers and stuff. We've got underground hospital, absolutely all sorts. That's now a pub on the corner. Has been built there. It's called the. Mike actually went in that one, but didn't realise that there used to be a gun coming out of here in the wall there, and that's called the White Hart. And yeah, there's the sign for it, the White Hart up there. We were sitting in the terrace tea garden first time when he came over, and sitting there with all these other people in the cafe outside, all lovely palm looking trees and stuff like that, and not palm trees, what are they now? There's something a bit like that. They might have been fake. And overlooking the town. And I said to him, you do realise this used to be, you probably don't realise, but this was a cemetery originally. So yeah, and very, this is probably one of the coolest books I've got actually. This it's got some amazing black and white photos in there. And then you've got this one here. This is quite rare to find. Guernsey under German rule. That was there's not many, I don't think there's any photos in this one, but it's got some good stuff to read about in that one. One of our old brochure things for Guernsey back in the probably the 70s. I'll have a look what it is. This one is if I can find it. Actually, it looks more like 80s, to be quite honest. This is where the Beatles played. In this thing here, obviously it didn't have glass on it. It was a bandstand, and they played in that area of Candy Gardens. There's now a museum, and that's a cafe. But yeah, the Beatles played there in '63. I'm just trying to give you some. The place I forgot to show Mike was where Iron Maiden stayed over at the chalet, which was a hotel, and they actually rented out the whole building so no one else could stay there, and they did it quietly. It wasn't really well known until you see a something where Bruce Dickinson mentions it in an interview, and they stayed there and they were writing some of the material for Peace of Mind. So, and yeah, so I can't find a date on that one. I've got another one here. This is Explore Sark, which is actually comes with a map and stuff. A day out in Sark. There's not a lot to do there anymore like there used to be. It used to be a very much a place to go and have a good old drink and come back completely pie-eyed. There's a picture that people might have seen posted on my Facebook. That's the smallest prison in the world, and they did still use it up until a couple of weeks ago. And there's not a lot else in that one. Alderney again was an old thin book. A lot of these I find in charity shops. Alderney is another place where the whole town street where you go up, it's just pubs and a few shops, and it's just you fall out of one pub, you fall into the next one. So yeah, it's very much. I'm trying to find some pictures here. That's what Alderney looks like. And oh, there's a thing in here. What's this? Ooh, I hadn't seen this before. Something about historic wreck. Oh no, that's something else. Oh, this is an archaeologist claims big find in Longhi Cliff. That's in Alderney. And that was in the Guernsey Press. This paper's from 1991, so yeah, this little book here is from 1991. It looked older than that. And I had a girl in my college class when I left school. She was from Alderney, and it was just so happened a few months before, in the summer, I'd actually seen her walking up the street, and I thought, she's quite, yeah. And the next thing I go at my college course, and she's there sitting down. I'm thinking, wow. No wonder I couldn't concentrate at school. Right, there's an old one. Walks with a car in Guernsey. Yeah, I've tried walking with a car. I got out, I let the handbrake down, and was letting it roll down the road, and when I tried to stop it, it wouldn't stop. So walking with the car is quite a dangerous thing to do, so I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, and I struggled to get it back up the steps. You know, there's oh, these are just walks around the island. There's not a huge amount of stuff in it. It's just about walking and what you see and stuff. That's a parish thingy. That one. This one's very cool. This is Guernsey in old photographs. I got two of these. This is the first one I got. All the pages are falling out, so I'm I'm going to grab another one in a minute. This one I've never read yet. This is the Book of Ebenezer LePage. It's a hard one to get hold of, apparently. But it's got no information on the back to tell you what it's about. I think it's just about a fisherman guy. But it was done in 1981. And there's that Guernsey song. Sanya Cherie is the lyrics. I'm still keeping on the musical aspect of things. So if you can read that, look up the song Sanya Cherie or listen to how they sing it. And that's a Guernsey song. Here we go. The Battle of Newlands, the wartime diaries of Winifred Harvey. This was, I'm just trying to think, how would I got hold of this? Is this, oh yes, I got this, for free. This was, see the Germans on there? I think that's where the woman lived, or the house, Newlands house. I remember getting this, but it was actually directly from the family of this person, so I'm sure it was. But yeah, there's no other pictures in there, so I won't show that one. Right, this one, Reflections of Guernsey. This is I'm gonna move them books. They look terrible now. This is this lady Molly B.A. has done quite a few books for Guernsey. She was interviewed not long back by Tony Robinson, who was in Blackadder and does all the amazing archaeology programs that I watch, and the history ones. I love watching the stuff he does. But I never got into Blackadder. So yeah, there you go. She was interviewed. It's that lady there. So if ever you see an interview with Molly B. Hay and Tony Robinson, that's the lady there. So she's just talking about when she was a child in the war. I'm moving these books. Next one, Queen's Channel Islands, the Bailiwick of Guernsey. This is an old one. There's even some really old Triumph Heralds and stuff like that in there. And there's our flag there. Well, the old Three Lions flag thing. My God, this is old book. It was only £2 when it was new. This is from 1969. So that price inside there is not the original price, because it wasn't in pounds then. This was actually sold in the UK at some point. But yeah, this is 1969, this book. Really cool. Not a huge amount of photos though, that's the problem. Actually, probably not many at all. Guernsey in 1985. This is that's from Castle Cornet, where we have the castle nights. There's Castle Cornet there. This is like the tourist book with all the hotels in, and we had hundreds of hotels in Guernsey. Tourism and flowers and tomato export were the biggest things, and now it's just finance. And the tourist industry is terrible. There's, some of the hotels in here are all either flats now, private stuff, burnt down. And there's literally hundreds of photos in here. And oh my god, there's a car in here that I recognise. I'm sure that's the guy that used to be in the club, classic car club. This hotel here is just up the road here, and it takes you about 2 minutes to walk there. And it's just up the road. Colonet. It's completely changed now. But yeah. Next one. The Ormer. That's an Ormer there. And yes, quite a big thing to try and try and find a live Ormer showing its fleshy foot. Ormers can move at a remarkable speed. It's got in here. There's one there. So look up the Ormer. That's people go on Ormer and tides. It's regulated. You're not allowed to buy. Oh no, you're not allowed to bring up ones that are too small. But yeah, there's a very interesting little pamphlet there from way back. No, one's hasn't got a date on it. It's done. St. Peter Port. Its story and its buildings. There's a sticker on there I can't get off. But yeah, little pamphlet there, very old. This was reprinted in '66, but it's originally from '63. The National Trust. And I'm trying to find some pictures. This is used to be a hospital in there, one of the first ones we had in there. That is now where the police station is. So yeah. And our court buildings. But yeah, there's loads of stuff to look at in there. Oh look, she cracked a smile. That's a rare picture, that one. Toil and Reward. This here actually is this guy here, Kenneth Rogers Davis. This is the guy on the back. He was a seaman. Memoirs of a Mariner. This is the dad of a guy that I worked alongside. Well, not alongside, but worked in the same building as. And his mum came and said that her husband had written a book, a Guernsey book, because I told her I collected Guernsey books. So I actually got this. Signed to John, and it says Ken Rogers Davis, and that's the guy there. I've never met him, but what a cool book, cool little book. Customs, ceremonies and traditions of the Channel Islands. I've got another book I showed before by this person. I can't pronounce his name or her name or whatever. No, it's his name. Yeah, I've not really looked at this book. It's talking about the Church of England and witchcraft and supernatural now, and I haven't read that one, so I'm going to have to get that. And this one's actually was given to somebody at Christmas 1976. That was my first Christmas. I missed out on it being in 75 by a week. So yeah, very cool. There's a few old. Well, that's some of that's Jersey as well. This one I bought from my daughter for. No, sorry, for my son for a Christmas present in 2015, and I wrote in it. But yeah, this one is Introducing the Guernsey Witch. Pooks 2 it's called. And it's got, I think it's got some different stories in here. Well, let's have a look. Yeah, there's one in here called Footprints in the Snow. And I think there's one, see some of the drawings in there. So yeah, it's not been read yet. Explore Guernsey, Alderney, Herm and Sark. Alderney, Herm and Sark and Jettu are all in the bailiwick of Guernsey, whereas Jersey is separate. So there it is there. And some really cool pictures in here. This book was done, I think, 1985. And just so you know, this is the bailiff at the time, Sir Charles Frossard. His wife was actually born in the house I live in. So yeah, there he is. Yeah, so his wife was born in this house, which is you know, it just shows how small the island is. But yeah, there's all sorts of stuff like this. Lots of cool information on Guernsey. These are really cool. These are called Guernsey Now and Then. So it shows you an old picture and how it is at the time of the book. The cover on this one's fallen apart. And there's actually another one as well. There's that one as well. So I'll show you what they're like inside. These books were done a while ago, so that's roughly what it looks like still now, but that was a while ago. And I live just around the corner from here. Some of these pictures were done in the 90s and noughties, and the older ones I can't tell you. I'm just trying to find a rough idea. I live just, this one hasn't changed much, but I live just a couple of minutes walk from here, and then this is what it used to be like. There was actually two soldiers had a fight, a battle down here. There's a stone with it on saying what happened, and one of them got killed. But yeah, that's actually a park, Cambridge Park now. Another one here, Through the Lens, very old one by Carol Toms. And this is Alderney, Sark, Herm and Jettu on here. Jettu is next to Herm, right next to it. I'm just trying to find that was in Fort George, which yeah was originally a fort, but this is you see all the soldiers in the background. Very, very cool. But that was that event photograph was 1912, that one there. So and there's quite a few there. this was when my boy was heavily into churches, and had to get this. Castles and churches, old churches of the Channel Islands, and they were just memorised. He'd memorised all of these churches when he was about 3 years old, 4 years old, and had to go and see all these churches and castles. Fort Great, which is above my TV on a picture. So that's another cool little book. This one here, Telling Tales. This is Guernsey news, views, ideas, snippets and gossip from the early to mid 1800s. So you got all the little articles that were in the paper and stuff, and they give the dates of when they were in there. And some of the stories are really, some of them are quite weird, some of them are very interesting. But yeah, look at that picture there, St. Peter Port. But yeah, that's a very interesting book for sure. I'm going to do one more book and then I'm going to upload the thing. This one here is more of a kid's book. I have two of them. Do I? Yes I do. I have two of them. It's called the Oscar Puffin book. Well, Oscar Puffin was a character that was on Channel TV, which is Channel Island TV, and he would be operated by, I'm going to spoil it for all the kids now, because he's not around now, but you know, I'm going to spoil it for the adults. But he did have a thing underneath where you could move it, and his beak moved. And if my girlfriend's watching, this is not a penguin, this is a puffin. We were on our way to Sark once, and she looked over to some rocks. And you think, we don't, you know, and she saw some birds that she thought they were. She actually said, "Oh, look at them penguins," and I was like, "You silly woman, they're puffins. We don't get penguins." But yeah, so yeah, this was a character that was, you know, they would put him around where the kids' TV time was, and he would read out children's birthday cards. Well, he wouldn't himself, but the presenter would, and he'd be like, clap, 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 with the beak. And yeah, lots of kids in the Channel Islands will know and would have had their name read out while watching him on TV. And I'd be up at the TV when I was a kid and like watching to see if I could see the presenter make any mess ups.